Hello, welcome. I'm Candy Michael. I'm in Powell, Ohio on a chilly Wednesday, and I'm here, and I'm glad you're here too. Thanks for stopping in. Today, I will be using the Artfully Layered stamp set and the dies. It is a bundle, and Stampin' Up! Has it on in our mini on page 33. And you can actually get the entire suite, meaning you don't have to key all these item codes in. And we have a suite collection item code number that you can put in there, and you can get all of this, the ribbon, the bundle, these awesome little the faux sea glass shapes, and the designer paper, some vellum. It's just a beautiful suite, and I've made a lot of fun cards. Today, I'm going to show you a fun fold using designer series paper. I've seen it done a little bit differently, and so I changed it up a little bit to be my version. I will also be using, on page 25, the Paradise Palms. I'll be also using this bundle as well on the second card. So I'm excited to show you what I'll be doing. Joan's here. Hello, Joan. Hi, Linda. I'm so glad you guys are here. This is a super fun card, and some of the designer papers in here are just the colors, and the designs on them are very, very pretty. So the original one that I saw was 5.5, hi Sherry, by 12. And that is the basis that you could work with. My measurements, I ended up cutting some of it down. And so I will have all my measurements on my website because it starts getting into the 1/8. Or what you can do is do it like all of your scoring, and then go back and cut your paper down later, and it's a lot easier. So I'll have both of those measurements on my website. But if it's not cut, it's 5.5 by 12 inches. So you can get 2 out of each piece. Hi, Laura. And you would score it at 4.25, 7.75, and 11.25. So that's before you cut it. And then once it's all folded up, then you would go back and cut it down to the way you would want it. So that'll make more sense once I start showing you all my folding. All right, so love this bundle. I have gotten a lot of use out of it. So I'm going to put some more miles on it today, and we'll do a little stamping and a little fun folding and just get right to work. Okay, so this card, I made it up, of course, ahead of time. I wanted to be able to show you. Hi, Glenda. How are you today? I made it up ahead of time. I wanted to make sure that it looked the way I wanted it to look. But I'm super excited about this card. This card is going to be for Caroline, and she is my helper. She's going to be graduating graduate school. And so when I was making this, I thought how fun this would be for her. So what I did to add a twist to this card is I put a full piece of 5.25 by, 5.5 by 4.25, just a quarter sheet of cardstock on here. And so that way I had to add a little piece of white, which is 5.25 by 4, which you can barely see on there. I'll show you as I'm putting it together. And then I had to cut this piece down to be able to fit right on top of that. So here's how it opens. Are you ready? A little photo. There's Caroline and me working at a craft fair. And then it opens up and says, hope you find a little paradise wherever you may be. So I'm going to show you how I put this together. I love adding photographs as an element on my cards or any of my projects that I do, because we all take them and we all leave them in our phone and we don't share them. So I'm going to show you very simply what I did to add that in there. So let's bring out our pieces. I brought a little piece of white so that I can show it a little bit easier. So I'm going to remake this card. Yes, she is. I know, time does fly. She's It's amazing how quickly it's gone by. Okay, so this is the design piece that I chose. There's many different patterns in here. When I scored it, it doesn't really matter, but when I scored it, I actually scored it with the, it's kind of upside down from the way it's going to fold. But again, I scored it at 4 1/4, 7 3/4, and 11 1/4 when it was a full sheet of the 5 1/2 by 12. So it'll make a difference. If you cut it ahead of time, the score lines will be different. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just fold this. Oops, going the wrong direction. Hello. I didn't have enough coffee today. That'll be my excuse. How's that? Well, I have to have some kind of an excuse, and that one sounded good, but I really haven't. It's not far from my reach, though. Let's see, I had scored this wrong, so I tried to fix it. That is correct. Okay, so there's my piece, and when it opens up, remember, it's going to go like this. So just to make sure that this is correct, this will sit on, and it's really just this back part of it. Now you can't see it because it's on here. It is pretty paper. It's actually, I've gotten a lot of use out of it. So this is going to sit edge to edge, just a little tiny bit. You can make it so you show more, but I just wanted a little bit to show. And then this is going to back it. So this will come right over the top. Anyway, let me go ahead and glue it all together. And hopefully I have my score lines correct. I did when I made the card up, so hopefully it'll come out all right. If not, you know me. I'll figure it out and I will let you know. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and glue this down. And then this piece should have folded evenly. So I'm not sure what I did here. Oh, there it is. I did have it right to begin with. But let me see something on here. I think I cut the second one and then scored it, so it threw me off. So that should be 1 3/4. All right. One moment, please. Well, I run to the cutter. 1 3/4. No. It is. Huh. It was. There we go. I don't know. This one I messed up. So I know I had it right the first time, but now it's going to lay right because this should all be lined up and mine wasn't. And so that is going to be glued down. We're not going to be able to see that because I have some paper going over it. But I'll make it all work. And like I said, I'll have all the measurements on the website because it started getting into 8ths. And if I had just cut it first and then scored it and then gone back and chopped off a little bit, it would have made more sense. But we're still going to go for it, okay? Now, I did cut a little piece of the vellum. There's a really cool vellum that goes with this whole set if you want to purchase it. But when you're working with vellum, you want to hide your glue, any of your adhesive. So you kind of want to hide it. So I'm going to put it here because I know those little, I'm going to call them sprigs, are going to be over the top of it. So I'm going to go ahead and layer this, and I want to hide that. So I'll pull them over and then just put a little bit of adhesive. And it's all right if I get a little over because my circle will hide it. I don't want it all over me because I normally end up wearing it. This is going to go this way. I hope you guys are all having a fantastic day. It's really kind of nice out, but it's just cold. And, you know, making these really made me think of sunshine, tropical paradise. And so it's warming me up, warming my heart. Okay, so those are going to lay down. Now, I have cut out my circles. I did use my dies, my circle dies, and inside here, this is 2.5 inches, and inside this one is like 2 3/8. So those are the sizes that I used, and those measurements will be on there again. And I will be gluing that down, but I want to stamp it first. And what I came up with for this one was sending all the hugs. I love... Green has normally not been my favorite color. Like, it never was a color that I would go to. But I'll tell you what, I am in love with this Evening Evergreen. It is such a beautiful green. And I seem to be using it a lot. Of course, it's one of the colors in this paper pack, so I use it a lot. So I just want to lightly tap that on there. Pull this up and make sure I'm in the camera. Diane, if you're on here, I'm totally standing up during this whole thing because when I sit down, it's too hard. Diane told me she stands up for all her stamping. I said, well, maybe that'll help. Okay, so I have my white circle stamped. Now I'm going to use a little bit of our pale papaya. In this stamp set, we have this really cool little stamp that just has like a bunch of faded words in another language. But it looked really cool. So I'm going to go ahead and put it on here. And I'm going to put this under it just because I know I'm going to get some on my paper. So I'll move that up. Oops. Bad, Candy. You better close that. Okay, so I'm going to move this up and just get a little bit of ink on here. And what I want to do is just kind of stamp this on there. Give it a little bit of color. And then again down here. A little color. Ooh. It's a really nice yellow. It's kind of an orangey yellow, I guess, but it's very pretty. That's our pale papaya. Okay, so when I take this off, and then I can move my scrap. This is going to get glued onto here. And again, when I stamped my words, it just looked kind of plain. So I thought it needed a little help making sure that's not wet. Okay, so now I have that down. I'm going to go ahead and pop this up with some dimensionals. Give it a little bit of a lift. You can use your the black dimensionals, or you can use white dimensionals, but I'm using the full size. And I want to make sure I don't glue this flap down. Hi, Barb. Nice to see you again. I want to make sure I don't glue that flap down. So I'm going to just put a dimensional like there. And then I can put it over here because I know that that's not going to hurt anything. And then I'll put it down here. Okay, and now we can just pop this up, and I'm going to hide any of that glue that might be kind of lingering. Make sure that's straight. Ooh. Now this opens like this. Pretty cool. So what I did for the photograph was which again, I'll show you in case you're just tuning in. So I did this so that it would fold open like this for Caroline's graduation. And all I did was I cut out the photo using that same die that was the white, that was a little bit smaller. And then once I die cut that out, I kind of lined it up after I had this down. I lined it up and put my glue on and just made sure that none of it was showing on either side. So you can kind of hide it. Isn't that cool? Just a fun little way to throw some more pictures. I'm all about pictures. Okay, so now I have my inside to do. And on here, I have my piece And this piece, I know I'll give you measurements on my site, but this is 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. And the reason I did that, this measurement, because I'm going to pull it over here so that it doesn't show. Otherwise, if it's too big, and I didn't want to cover all the DSP, but I didn't want it sticking out there. You can. I just didn't want that for this look. But I can pull it out about there and put it in as long as it's not showing with my fold. Nothing wrong with that if I did it, but not what I was looking for. Okay, so my stamp for the inside is going to be same one. Hope you find a little paradise wherever you may be. So I'm going to move this out of my way because I keep moving it. I'm going to use the Evening Evergreen, and I'm going to use the big leaf that comes with the Artfully Layered set. It's just such a pretty leaf. And the way I did it, I kind of stamped it off. So I'm going to just make sure that you guys can see that. And bring it right about there. Ooh. Have it hanging off. And then just to have a little piece of it there. If you guys notice, I am literally lightly tapping. When you get too heavy-handed, you get that big halo, meaning that you'll get it on the edge. So I'm trying really hard not to smash it in my ink pad. Hope you find a little paradise wherever you may be. So for some of you that are in the sunny, warm states right now, I hope you're finding your paradise there today. I found mine right here with you guys. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue this in. And I'll give it a second to make sure that I don't smear anything. Oops, wrong one. That one's already done. So I already know that if I bring it over to the edge, I'm going to have it not show. So that worked out well. And then, voila. Look at how, you guys, this card is actually really fast. And if you don't want to add that white or you have different paper, you certainly don't have to. But what I did after I scored everything, so I cut it 5.5 by 12. I scored it all first, and then I cut it down to be just so I had just a little bit of that white showing. And it was 5 1/8. And then what I did was I just put this on the cutter because I only wanted to cut that bottom piece again after I had scored it all. And that is 3 7/8. So, so I'll show you and have more info on there, but yay. So isn't that cool? So this again, this is the cool one with the photo. It'll be Caroline's. I'll be signing that after my live and getting that in the mail because she'll be graduating very soon. Okay, so let me move that out of my road. It's in my road. And I'll leave it over there. Next card. And this one I'm super excited about. So I went with the old olive color. And this design, which was just a little bit different, if you notice this design. The paper designs are just beautiful. And then the opposite colors, the flip side. So this one has a little bit of the pale papaya, and it's really cool because it has like script in there, some white words, which I love it. Oh, thanks, Akimi. Nice to see you. So I went ahead and scored and then cut this down. I'm not using the panel of white in there. So I believe this piece I cut down to 5 1/4. It was a regular measurement. So for anybody that suffers using those eighths, and that drives them crazy, this will be a much simpler one. So it's 4 by 5 1/4, which would be your second layer. And then I scored it all first, and then I cut this side down and then the top, just so you know. Okay, so let's go ahead and just simply glue this down. And this card, I'm going to be using the Tropical Paradise. We used that over the weekend, and everybody made some really fun stuff. So let's go ahead and put this together. So I want to stamp and then die cut out some of the palm trees. So let me see. I have them all sitting here. This stamp set, which, oh, here's the box. I wanted to show you. See if I can do it without having a big glare on it. So this stamp set is really cool, and I love the words. The words that I used on that other card actually on the inside is in this set. Hope you find a little paradise wherever you may be. And it has a retirement stamp and a happy birthday. But it's just a really cute font and a nice stamp set. And then it has quite a few of the dies with it. And this is in the mini. Both of these stamp sets are still in the mini, which will last through June or while supplies last. I know right now it's the big frenzy trying to get through the annual catalog, and I just didn't want to add to anybody's stress and use any of those stamps that are retiring. So I'm using these that are still supposed to go through June. But if you love this paper and you love any of this, you're going to want to get it before then. Because, just saying, it truly gets down to while supplies last. Okay, so on this, I'm going to go ahead and use the old olive ink that goes along with my cardstock in the background. I need 2 of the palm trees toppers. And this set is nice. We had another one in the catalog, but the palm trees were all the same, so it was a little harder to ink up. But it's nice. Stampin' Up! Made these so that you can die cut this separately from the trunks of the tree. So I'm going to use the soft suede ink for my trunks, my palm tree trunks. This will work very nicely. And where am I looking? I need that, and I need this. I had pulled out the palm trees, but apparently I didn't pull out my little stems here, or trunks, the trunks, as I throw everything around. So to make this simple, I'm just going to put one on either side, ink them up, because they will be die cut out. Give myself plenty of room. And then I'll do this side as well. And it doesn't really matter if it's right side up or upside down, because it's just going to be die cut. Well, that's not the best stamping I've done, but looks good to me. Okay, so I have my dies, and I'm going to run them through the machine. And oh my gosh, look at how fast I am. Ta-da! I am super quick. Did you guys even see me run it through? Well, I did. I did it before for you. And I also did die cut out. It has a little grass. So I die cut out the grass, and I have all those pieces to work with now. So that way I don't have to worry about those being in the way. Okay, I cut a little panel. I'm making this card a little bit differently than I did the other one. And I made this, oh my goodness, I can't pick that up. So I'm just going to scooch it off to the side. So I made this so that I can go ahead and lay it down here. It was just kind of a funky size. It was hanging over the first fold here. And then, you know, the cool thing about this fold is it's anything goes. If you have the taller elements like the trees and you want it to go this way, you can. If you want it to be a whole bigger piece, I mean, this was just a random, well, that looks like a good size. So that's how I went with it. Sometimes that's how my brain works. It's like, oh yeah, that looks like a good size. So I'm going to go ahead and just line that up into the center. And then what I want to do is I want to glue it onto here. Now, I don't want to put too much glue because I don't have a very large edge there. So I'm just going to lay it down. And I'm literally pushing it into that seam. Pull it down here a little bit and then fold it and glue it. So now this is going to flip up and over. If you want, you can always glue this down. You can glue this down if you want it just to be a really cool paper fold. But I thought, I hate to waste all that paper. And if you wanted to put a picture or anything else like that, you can certainly do that. Okay, so let's bring on the palm trees. And I'm first going to glue this on. And then I will glue this one to be a little bit taller. So just to make it easy, I'm going to just put some glue down here. Oh yeah, that's a lot of glue, Candy. And I actually want to put this one on first. So let's see if I can do this without making too much of a mess. Okay. So this one I want to be a little bit taller. And we're going to go right about there. But I might need to twist it. Yeah, there we go. So I played with this before I went live just to see about where they would lay. And this has to go here, and then this one has to go there. So I want to make sure it's going to stay on the paper. And there we go. All right, so with this, you can go ahead and use a glue dot on there or I can use like 2-dimensionals here, but again, I don't want to shut my card. So I think I'm going to just use some glue dots. Of course, I have probably 4 boxes opened around the room, but do I have it near me? No. So I'm going to just put some down at the bottom so that I don't glue my card shut. And then I will put one right here. So it was very nice when this was designed. Oh my goodness, I just rolled that one right up and I want it flat. That when they designed this, come on you, that they gave us this ledge here so that we can glue our piece down. So let's do the small one first. And I'm going to see if I can get this glue dot. Yay, it actually behaved. Okay, so do I want this one down first? Yes, yes, I do. Yes, she says. So it normally is easier to put this down and then just press on it and spin it off. But of course, I'm trying to do it the hard way. Oh my gosh. Look at me making a mess. And then you just want to cover that little white area there. And then this one will come right up here. And how cool is that? But before I put that down, I did die cut out a little sun. And when I was playing, it was so funny. When I was playing with this, I was trying to place the sun in many different places. And it just didn't look right. And this is not going underneath. Oh, I know why. Because the glue dot caught it. Well, doesn't that look awesome? It's just peering through the palm trees. Well, I like it. I'm going to leave it. That's how much I like it. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this on and add just a little bit down here. And I hope you like it as much as I do. And then I'm going to go ahead and get this to come right about, right about there. Look at that. Do you see like my vision of wishing I was in the Pacific somewhere, or Florida, or I say the Pacific because I'm from California, so that's where I'd like to be, where it's warm, but I'm okay right now. All right, so I have this going on, and then we have these really cool new dies for any of you that are bummed that our old stitch dies went away. What were they called? Stitch shapes that had the circles, the ovals, and the squares. Well, we have some new ones coming that'll be here in the new catalog. And so I used one of the shapes, and I don't know if I can show you what they look like. So I'm going to just show you the one that I cut out. Hello, Patty. Thank you. Thank you. And so I am going to stamp this one with, here it is, wishing you a warm and beachy kind of day. So we're just going to lightly tap this out. This is really cool. It has stitching all the way around. Love it. And it has the little flags cut out for you. Okay, so now here I go. Let's see if I can get this straight, because I think I put my label on crooked when I last tried to stamp it. Yay! Oh my gosh, sometimes I surprise myself. It's like, oh yes, that worked out very well. Okay, so here we have that. So I thought this would just be different, and I'm going to pop it up. It was kind of a big area, and I had to figure out what I was going to do to fill it. And that's what I had decided to do. So hopefully that is dry. I'm going to go ahead and pop this on the back. Give it a little height. Oh my gosh. Look at how cute. Doesn't that make you think and dream about the beach? Yeah, sure does. So what do you think? Here we go. Here we have this, and there is the fold. Now, I was going to pop in here my happy birthday. So, oops, that one says retirement wishes, but could be. I think it would be a cute happy birthday one. So, let me get my my block. And I realized I left my cut piece across over here next to my cutter. Hopefully this is the right size. I had several of them cut there. But again, I just wanted a small piece to go inside so I can put some words. And we'll go ahead and do that in the evening evergreen. There is a little bit of the Just Jade color in here, and I've made some cards with that, but that color is retiring. So I didn't want to use it because I know it's retiring, and I didn't look up to see if it's still available or not. And so these colors are still available. They're still in the annual catalog being carried over. And so I figured I would just do it this way. Okay, so let's go ahead and stamp some palm trees on here and just finish off this card. I hope you love this fold because I just think it's super cool. So we'll put some palm trees right about there. Ooh, that's pretty. And then Candy is going to close the ink pad so Candy doesn't get ink. How did I manage not to get ink on me? Yes, that is a first. It's a first. Okay, so let's glue this inside. Now, I don't even think I got glue on me today. Wow. That's crazy. Crazy, crazy. Okay. And then I can just lay that down. Hopefully that didn't slip. It didn't. Okay, so here's the whole shebang. Oh, that was the wrong color. I wanted to use the old olive. But hey, doesn't that pop off of there? It's still in the paper. It works, right? It all works for me. I had that ink pad next to me and buried the old olive. But I'm liking it, okay? It's all right. So here's our one fancy fun fold. And I love it with the little pop of the papaya. And then here's Caroline's card, sending all the hugs to all of you and hope you find a little paradise wherever you may be. So those are my two fun folding cards. But I do have some other cards that I've made using both of these stamp sets and this designer paper. They're not a fun fold, but they're certainly worth me sharing for you because some of them were in a card swap that I was in, and some of them I made for a card swap. So let me bring those over. They're right here. Cindy Culp. Oh my goodness. I was just thinking of you. Thinking that when Joe retires, he and Tim can go golfing. Haha. Won't that be cool? Okay, so here's a couple other cards that I made. And again, this is using the designer paper and using some of the twine, a little bit of an embossing folder, and just very, very simple. I didn't put anything inside, but I really, really wanted to share these. This one, I think I did this one on a live for you guys just very recently, where I used the designer paper. You cut your base at 5.5 by 5.5 and score it at 4.25. And then you're ended up with a little flap, and you can add your designer series paper on there. Oh, you know what? I forgot on this one. I'll go back and add the little stones. I forgot. But anyway, this is just a fun, that's a fun cut. I did the same using the palm trees. So you can use either the Artfully Layered, or you can go back and use that palm tree or the Paradise Palms. So super simple. Love that. This was one we did over the weekend. And again, super simple. And I love the vellum. The vellum is really fun. When you use vellum, you just want to put your glue under, like, where something's going to be hiding it. So underneath this paper is where the glue is. This was a fun one I did. And I made one into a retirement and one into a birthday. So a little bit of the vellum behind it, because it all comes with that suite. So it's just kind of nice. And it says, hope you find a little paradise wherever you may be. And I think this one says the same. See, I inked it too hard and got my little halo on it, but that's all right. It all works. This card, my friend Mindy made, Mindy Gray, and look at how cool this is. So it's just a flat back with a the brick and mortar embossing folder, and it has just a fun little folding on the front, a fun little fold. So I thought that was cute. These cards are so worth sharing. There's just so much happiness in all of these. And then this was another one that I got in a swap. And so it just says sending all the hugs. But I loved how they stamped this onto the actual leaf. I thought that was a really cool idea. And this ribbon is in that suite. So this is the Just Jade that's going out. If you don't have it and you want it with this paper, you might want to grab a pack of that paper before it goes out on April 30th, which is just a few days away. So let's put these stones on really fast, and then I can say goodbye to all of you. But where are they? They're buried. So these are the faux sea glass shapes, and they're tiny, but you really don't want them to be too big or they'll overpower. So here's where I put them on the card that I had made prior to the live so that I could have one to show you. So let's go ahead, and I just went ahead and used the shade of green. Probably it's probably like the jade shade. And then I'm going to use some of the smaller ones. They have kind of a weird shape to them because, of course, they're sea glass. So I want them to kind of go in different directions. Well, that looks about right. So here we are. All of these fun cards. Let me get my little, I don't want to say pile, but my little cards here for you guys to see as I say goodbye. Thank you so much. The new annual catalog will be coming out and going, well, they're already out. I need to get mine out on the porch for everyone. This will start on May 3rd. Here's the cover. And I'm telling you guys, it is really awesome. There's always fun stamps and papers and new in colors to share. And I just could not be happier. If you're not on my email list, go to candystampers.com and you can sign up to be on my email list to get class information and information about getting a catalog. You can certainly message me there. So thanks for joining me today. I will be back next week, which I looked up, and that will be May the 4th. Cannot believe it'll be a new month, but it just keeps going, right? Thanks for joining me for my 411 and having some stamping fun. See you all next week. Bye for now.